Welcome to the Jeff Couret podcast. Today's guest is someone who's been growing very, very quickly on TikTok. I think you're going to learn a lot from him. His name is Sal. And so, Sal, welcome to my podcast. Appreciate you
Thank you.
coming on. And I'd like you to, if you wouldn't mind, just kind of introduce yourself to my audience and just kind of explain your run on TikTok so far.
Sure, not a problem. Well, good afternoon. So my name is Sal, and I have two accounts on TikTok. So my primary account is the Real Simply Sal. I started that account, I think, back in late May, early June. Really more of a experimentation account. And then my secondary account, which is Simply Sal Finds, I started it back in July, on July 1st. So I'm based here in Austin, Texas. And really the inspiration for me getting on TikTok was really around quarantine and just overall boredom. Just trying to figure out, how do I balance my work life with my personal life and just really take a approach of just using my creativity and curiosity to jump on board a platform where I can help motivate and inspire others.
Cool. All right. So why don't you get our audience very excited by telling what they want. They want followers, they want views. So tell us a little bit about your follower numbers and like some of your more successful videos.
Sure. Yeah. So we'll start with my first account. So on the Real Simply Sal, I'm currently sitting at about 74,000 followers. And there were a couple of big hits in terms of virality for my videos. I wasn't really expecting these videos to go big. And I think that's the interesting thing about TikTok, where sometimes you don't know. Like you'll post a video, it may take a while to get picked up. And in one particular video, I remember it started out pretty insignificant, and I would say within about a week, I ended up hitting about 600,000 views. And then we were actually, it was a funny story because we were on our road trip to Colorado. So the time that it took to go from Texas to Colorado, by the time I got there, I ended up hitting about 4.1 million. So it went
Nice.
from 600,000 to 4.1 million. And my notifications were blowing up on my phone. And I was really inspired. I think that really motivated me to continue to do more and experiment more. And one of the things that I think worked really well was the fact that the video was less than about 15 seconds. Number two was really around getting the hook. I think the hook was the most critical thing as I'm analyzing that video to get people to continue watching. And then the suspense of the actual hook led people to watch it again and again. So my actual average watch time was a lot higher than the actual video length. So, and then the third factor was around the sharing. I think people started to share it quite a bit. That's what really got it going. So I was really motivated, just really excited about that video.
Okay.
And since then, I've gotten a couple of other videos that haven't quite gotten as high as that video. So the number that my first video is sitting at is about 5.1 million. The other videos on the same account did clear about 1.2 million.
Okay.
One of my other videos, which I posted, gosh, it was early on, it's sitting at about 1.7 million. So it's continuing to get exposure.
Nice.
So that's the other interesting thing I've found about TikTok is the content doesn't seem to expire. And so as new and more people come on board, I think TikTok's algorithm is smart enough to keep pushing their content out. So that's, again, it's really inspiring.
How long have you been on TikTok?
Started my first account back at the end of May.
At the end of May. Okay. So you're starting in May 2020. I have a little bit more time on TikTok. I started taking it more seriously around November-ish, and I will say that I have noticed that almost all of my most successful videos, except for the ones that went truly super duper viral back in the day, have all like I don't get anything from them anymore. So I think they actually do expire to an extent, but it's not for several months. But I think I get nothing on my older videos, so it's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it is, but I think there's maybe something in the 6 month range where, like, if it never went viral, it's pretty much done.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the other things that I've started to do, especially with my initial account, is take a look at the videos that worked well and actually repost them.
Yeah.
I found that that seems to work pretty well. So a couple of things that I do is maybe tweak the caption, tweak some of the hashtags. And I'm less concerned about timing these days, where probably a couple of months ago, timing was probably more critical. around set peak times, I found just through experimentation that it doesn't really matter. I think as long as the video is good,
Yeah.
and you're using the right set of hashtags. And also one other thing that I've found is you don't need to stuff with hashtags. Like I think
Yeah.
3 to 6 hashtags is probably good. Don't necessarily need to max it out. Um, and I found that I think fewer hashtags, probably more relevant ones with a couple of higher ones seem to work pretty well.
I've actually stopped using hashtags for the most part. I use them probably one out of every couple videos just because I'm just having so many viral videos without using them. And it's like, man, it really is kind of all about watch time. And yeah, hashtags I think will give you a boost.
Mhm.
But I think people are putting a little bit too much weight on them overall.
Yeah, and then I think the one thing that I've always just heard a lot of feedback on is like, should I include hashtag FYP for you page or not? I'm kind of torn between that. I think initially I felt like, oh, this video got viral because I included these hashtags. But then later on, I'm like, well, I didn't include them and it still got over 1 million views. So honestly, I think it, to your point, I think it comes back down to good video, watch time, the commentary, because the engagement is really important on there. And just overall, just I would say impact of the video.
Yeah, I personally think hashtag FYP is more of a correlation because a lot of people think it helps. So
Mhm.
you go through your For You page and you see a lot of people using it, but what you don't see is the 700 million people who use that and flop. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
just I think it kind of gets in people's head that way, and they think it works. But I'll say none of my viral videos had FYP or anything XYC
yeah,
ZBA. But I'm always open to looking at any sort of potential evidence, and I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong.
yeah.
I don't know, but it seems to be all about engagement. One thing I'm noticing is people who get a lot of likes, like I'm talking 20 to 30% like to view ratio. Like if they have 1,000, if they have 1,000 views, they have like 200 to 300 likes.
Mhm.
I mean, they're just exploding right now. I mean, it's crazy, and I don't get anywhere near that. I am lucky to get like 10. As the video kind of matures, the percentage goes down, but I'm lucky to get like 10 to 15%. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, people who really can hit that are
Yeah.
really crushing it right now. I'm noticing.
Yeah, and actually I think that's the other good call out there is one of the things that I'm doing now, especially with my secondary account.
Hey, I want to talk to you about that
Yeah,
secondary account too. Yeah.
and that's really a more interesting story. I think the first account is great. I think
Yeah,
this,
let's get in there after you say what you're about to say. Let's get into that because I know we could just spitball about the algorithm all day, but let's
yeah, no,
get
absolutely.
on track.
I think a couple of other factors that worked well for me on my first account and second account is shooting videos in good lighting.
Yes.
Good lighting is extremely important, and I feel like the videos that did better is a direct result of having better lighting. And you don't necessarily have to go and buy an expensive ring light or have anything crazy in terms of your setup, but a good camera with the lens, phones work really well, and natural lighting, I think through the window has seemed to work pretty well for that.
Mm.
Um,
And
so
the bathroom too with the mirror. I mean, the lighting.
yeah,
I think that's one of the reasons they work so well. Is just the lighting is great, and the Walmart because you got all that lighting from all around. I think that's one
yeah,
of the reasons those do well.
exactly.
Cool. So let's talk about So what made you decide to start the secondary account after you? Because it was Real Simply Self first, right?
Yep.
Okay. Take me through that.
Yeah, so secondary account, actually, it was more of an epiphany, to be honest with you. I think the journey that I took starting my initial account, I learned a lot along the way of like what works, what doesn't work. And I said, I talked
And
to
you were
my
just
wife.
posting like variety, comedy. What were you posting on that first account?
Yeah, yeah. So the themes that I was focusing on. Oh, sorry. The other thing is around focusing on a niche, and I think
Mm,
we've talked about that before
yeah.
through channels, different channels. But the concepts that I was focusing on was really around creativity, inspiration, and just fun.
Hmm.
So those are the three themes that I focused on. But the secondary account, it was more of an epiphany where um, my wife, I'm going to give her all the credit. She is huge on products. So like she
Mm,
has a great keen eye for good products for the house, gadgets, kitchen, so forth and so on. I'm big on tech products. And so on July 1st, and that date is important because that's the first video that I posted on my secondary account. Posted the first video. I said, hey, let's These are products that we own and already have. Why don't I just do reviews within 15 to 20 seconds on a secondary account and see what happens? And so I did a little bit of research around like hashtags, types of videos, how should I articulate the concept of like doing a product review. It was a very condensed product review focus on TikTok. And so the first video that I posted on the first, I think sitting at about 250, 260,000 views. This was the first video. The second video I did on 7/2. That second video is sitting at 4.4 million.
Isn't that crazy?
And it was bizarre because brand new account,
Right.
uploaded a couple of videos. And the interesting thing and key differentiator between my first and second account, the second account, as soon as I post a video, it got picked up in terms of views within like 10 seconds. Every time I post, I get views right away. So there isn't that lag time that I have with my initial account.
That's interesting.
Yeah, my theory there is, and again, I can't speak to the first couple of videos. Maybe it was just good timing. I don't know. Or maybe I just got lucky and just hit the right hashtags. It could have been that too. I feel like TikTok's algorithm, just my own personal opinion, like it knows the type of content that's coming up and it knew exactly who to push it out to. So I kept that same theme, and now I have published, I think, over about 60 videos, 55, 60 videos. And each one of the videos continues to get a good amount of views. And then on this account, I've gotten a couple of videos that have surpassed the million mark. The second video of mine hit 4.4 million. A couple of other ones are close to about 2 million. But on average, I'm getting anywhere between 50,000 to about 250,000 views.
Nice.
Yeah.
On every single video?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, that's very good numbers.
Yeah.
And I think that's niche. You know, you're just having that niche set in stone. I mean, I think that helps engagement so much. And so that's kind of a little bit of a regret that I have on my account. And to your earlier point, you were talking, okay, the very first video you posted on Simply Self Finance kind of went viral. I had the same thing happen. I actually did have, or I still do have niche accounts. I have Jeff Couret Fitness. First video on that channel went viral, 2.1 million. I have Jeff Couret Sports. The first 5 did okay. The number 6 video went viral. So I've kind of seen that, but it's just kind of, for me, keeping up with all these different accounts is challenging. So I was just like, let me just kind of like take my main channel and do everything there. It'll be like 80 or 90% niche, and then 10 to 20% fun or whatever I feel like doing. I think that hurt me a little bit. I think that is hurting me a little bit, and it probably is. But at the same time, I don't feel burnt out. I kind of am enjoying it, but at the same time, I feel like I'm missing out on growth. I'm probably missing out on a lot of growth because of that decision too. So
Yeah.
I'm rethinking a little bit. So we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I mean, that one of the challenges I had was I was so focused on my initial account that when I started my secondary account, I saw the growth happening there. I kind of did a bend in the first account. I'll be honest. Like I didn't have the time
Right.
to devote to both.
Right.
So that's something I would recommend. Like, be smart about how many accounts you should have, and like really devote the time, because we've read where you should be posting a certain number of posts per day to keep your account like pretty healthy and active and continue to get the growth that you're looking to get. The one interesting thing I'll say, the difference between the first and second account is the second account, I'm actually only posting once a day. And I haven't really experimented too much around what impact would it have based on a product niche focus to post 2 to 3 times or 3 to 5 times a day. I don't know if that's going to hurt me, help me. I can only imagine that it could probably help, but at the same time, it's been working with 1 post per day, which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you're having results there. Yeah, it'd be something to experiment with, but at the same time, like the whole thing is reviews. I mean, are you getting, like, I don't know if you don't feel comfortable answering this, but like, are you getting these products like discounted or for free, or are you buying all these out of pocket?
No, I mean, these are all out of pocket.
Yeah, so I mean, that means
These
you
are
have to
things
buy
that,
more products.
well, I think that's the other thing, is like trying to tee up product, like 3 to 5 product reviews a day is tough, right?
Yeah.
And so I've got a day job, right? So one of the things that I've started to do is shoot my videos over the weekend or at nights and do like 2 to 3 videos at a time and save them in draft, and then I can pace out my reviews throughout the week.
Good idea.
So that's kind of a quick strategy that's been working for me, working pretty well. The other thing I'll say is going live. I have found going live, and I'm not necessarily in the mindset of like, let me go live so I can get, gifts from people. For me, it was more of like, let me put a face to the name, right, or to the video, so that people know like, okay, this is a real life person, right? Like, he's doing all these reviews. And so I take one of the things that I started to do on my live sessions. It was a little bit challenging at first. I mean, I think it always is, because it's like a phone call where they can see you, but you can't see them. And all you see is like questions and commentary coming through. But a couple of things that work for me, like for live sessions, has been, just doing live product reviews. I have my products with me. And so I start talking about the products. Like if I post a video and I go live a little while later, I'll start taking questions about the products, and I show them like, this is what it is and this is why it's good. Taking overall just questions from the group on like recommendations, like what types of products or categories do you want me to start reviewing? So I've built a pretty good community of actively engaged followers, and I've got my regulars coming on there, which is really exciting. So for me, it's more of a confidence booster, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I'm adding value, and I'm getting good positive feedback from them, which is exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I see you have your link tree set up in your bio for Simply Style Finds, which appears to be Amazon affiliate links, right? So that's your monetization strategy. Of course, we have the TikTok Creator Fund coming out soon, but are you able to share any information about how that Amazon affiliate campaign is going? Like, and just you don't have to be like super specific, but like, is it making a decent amount of sales or?
Yeah, I think without sharing too much of the details, it's been working okay. I think it's very hit or miss with the actual conversion on like how people can actually take advantage of these products. The cool thing about Linktree is that it gives you those analytics, so you're able to see like
exactly how many people.
Yeah, like how many people actually clicked on it, and then on the Amazon affiliate side, you're able to see like how many sales came through. So for the most part, like my conversion is somewhere between about 1 to 3%.
Okay.
Which to me, just thinking about from an affiliate perspective, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I would say that's good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So,
and then one last thing I'll just add there, like a funny thing that just happened. So one of the videos for a product that I thought was really cool, it was actually a magnetic key hanger product. So I did a cool video for that, less than 15 seconds. It got to about 1.9 million views, which is exciting. And I actually ended up causing the seller to sell out of the product.
Okay, interesting.
So that stuff happens too.
So how many did that drive? Like hundreds of sales or like tens of sales? Like was it a ton?
Yeah, it was in the hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah. I actually took it upon myself to reach out to the seller, and I said, "Hey, I think I must have sold out your inventory," and I was just doing a courtesy on behalf of my customers. I said, "Hey, do you have any more inventory coming up?"
Yeah.
Because I'm driving all this, so they do. So
I wonder if that may have been a good opportunity. Of like if you're reaching out to him directly, of course, if you know what it's like from a seller's perspective on Amazon, they have to pay Amazon a commission.
Yeah.
So maybe that would have been a guy. Or maybe you could still do it and be like, yo, maybe we cut out Amazon. I give the orders to you, you ship it out, and you make more money, or maybe that you get.
It's like a win-win. Yeah.
It's a win-win. Maybe you get a healthier commission because Amazon is, and they recently reduced it. I'm sure you probably heard about that, and of course, so something that works a little bit better for both of y'all could be maybe a win-win, especially if they're already shipping it to Amazon in order for them to ship it back. You know what I mean? So something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some interesting opportunities from a monetization perspective. You already brought up the Creator Fund, which is awesome. But I think as this platform grows, I think there will be new and exciting ways to monetize.
Yeah, I think you're in a great position for someone who has a nice, affordable household product to pay you at least a couple $100. or more for of a review just to get in front of your audience.
Mm.
Absolutely going to drive sales. They'll probably make their money back with the quickness. And hey, if anybody has a company like that, I'm gonna have a way for you to reach out to Sal at the end of this video. So definitely want to reach out to him for that, or anybody who wants to market their product that they're selling on Amazon. It's mostly like household, like techie kind of household
Yeah,
products.
yeah.
I think I saw a what is it, a garlic slicer
Garlic mincer. Yeah.
mincer, yeah. So stuff like that. Random household objects. What is this, like a LED mouse,
Mhm.
a light up mouse, stuff like that. Cool.
I mean, I think also there's also inspiration there, where like relevancy and timing of seasonality is important. So like one of the things that I'm doing right now is like I said, back to school is right around the corner. I'm a parent, so why don't I put together some back to school products so that
Mm.
would be relatable
Hmm.
to most people that are
To
on the
me,
spectrum.
as a
Right,
parent with kids in
right, to
school,
parents, right?
yeah.
Or well, one of the videos I did really well was one of my backpack videos. I did a backpack with an external USB charge port, and that thing like took off, and people were like, "Oh my God, I need this backpack!" Right? So that one's I think about 1.7 million,
Nice.
maybe higher views, so which is exciting. And then I took those ideas and I said, let's create a back to school giveaway, which is like a multitude of my top 5 products for back to school. So that's pretty exciting. So you're kind of connecting the dots there. So I think for folks that are really curious and are creative minded, there's a lot of opportunities. And I think TikTok has been a phenomenal platform to help bring those ideas out to fruition.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So until we got on this podcast meeting, I wasn't thinking of you as a review channel. Like you're simply Sal Finds. I wasn't thinking of it as a review channel until you said the word review out of your mouth. I was like, I guess it is review. But so why is it that? So I guess why did you decide to name it Finds instead of Amazon Reviews or something like that?
I think purely because of just trying to be different. I
Hmm.
think differentiation is important. I think the element that I wanted to put into it was like, these are things that I buy, and these are things that I'm doing the research on so that you don't have to. So
Hmm.
that you, as an individual, as a consumer, you can make better informed decisions that, well, this guy's got this many followers. He must know a thing or two about tech, about home products, about gadgets. And so for me, it was more of a kind of a seal of approval. Like, these are things that I found,
Hmm.
not just like randomly going out there and like taking screenshots of like different products on Amazon or anywhere else, saying, hey, this is a good product. So being able to have the product in hand and actually review it and telling them like, hey, these are things that I've found useful. It may be useful for you. At the end of the day, it's up to them to buy it and make that decision. But at least I've helped bridge any gaps for them.
Do
So
you speak into like the pros and cons and like do you recommend whether or not they should buy it or do you just not show it?
no, not really.
Okay.
Not really. It's
Okay.
it's more. I would say it's more of like, hey, here's a cool product that I found very useful. This is how I use it.
Hmm.
Um, it could work for you too, right?
And you're keeping your videos around 15 seconds or less, or are you kind of going longer?
Some videos a little bit longer. One of my videos was around a Wi-Fi extender. Again, this was something I had literally. I had this in my house for 3 years, and I said
Smart.
I'm like, it's been.
I
I don't
found
know
this
what
on Amazon in 2015, but I found it.
but I found that they still sell it and it's still selling off the shelves, right?
Nice.
So, but I identified the need, I identified the demographic, and I said, okay, I think this could be useful. So people always need more internet, better
Hmm.
internet speed. They've got dead zones in their house. So why don't I just do a quick review? That video I think was about 30 seconds, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So I haven't gone above 30 seconds, maybe on a couple of them, but for the most part, they sit anywhere between 15 and about 30 seconds.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, and you can only say so much in that amount of time too. Like you can't really get into pros and cons.
Mhm.
Um, and it also gives people something like, well, gives people something to comment about. Well, what did you think about this particular thing, or do you recommend it? And maybe could drive some extra engagement that way. Cool.
Well, if we can take just a quick second to talk
Yeah.
about engagement, one of the other
Sure.
things that I found that could be useful for your fans as well is there's the like factor, right? So you need a certain number of likes, but then there's a certain number of shares. But the true engagement for me is around the commentary. on a couple of my videos, there's been so much back and forth. And I'll tell you, the second video that I published on my Top Finds account, it was a 4-in-1 wireless charger. And on that video, you see commentary between Apple users, Android users, just going back and forth, back and forth. There was so many comments on there that I felt like it almost turned like into like arguments. But what's interesting is then one of the other tactics that I employed was I did my very best to try to respond to all of them. I think one of the things content creators should be able to do, again, depending on your, like the caveat is depending on the number of followers you have and how much time you have, try to go in and kind of cherry pick the ones that you want to respond to. You're not going to be able to respond to everyone, but the ones that may have like questions that you can respond to and that could help other people as well as they're looking at your videos, that could be really exciting. So that was one of the things I did. And I think it helped.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many ridiculous comments, and it's kind of frustrating sometimes too when people ask the same thing. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Here's something I think the audience will find very valuable. So let's just say they're in a situation like you were before you started your second channel, and things are going okay. They feel like they could be going better. They're thinking about maybe creating a new account or not. Like, how would you walk them through that process?
One of my followers actually reached out to me this week on that. They said, hey, I have a channel on life hacks and iPhone hacks. I want to transition it over to a new category. I think for me, my recommendation would be number one, a couple of good things to do. Don't delete your videos. Don't do that.
No, yeah.
So I have known people that have actually just suppressed all of them, basically made them all private, had a different strategy for the types of videos, and that's okay too on the same account. But I feel like if your content is going to be radically different, it may be in your best interest to open a new account. That's just me.
Yeah.
So I felt like I had this dilemma as well because I had my first account. I was like, oh, well, I'm running out of ideas on what to create. Should I start my Top Finds account on this account or should I go to a new account? I bit the bullet and I said, let me just go to a new account. And for me, it worked. It worked pretty well because I'm like, fresh account. I already have a strategy in play based on my earlier learnings. Let's just see what happens. For me, it's like, I didn't set my expectations really high because I didn't know what to expect. To be honest with you, I would have been happy with like 100 views on my first video. But to my surprise,
I got like what, millions, right? Or something like that?
Well, the first video got about 230,000. The second video is the one that got 4.4 million.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
So,
I mean, think of all the people who uploaded their first two videos and got like 5, 10, 20, you know what I mean?
Well, that was me too on my first account. Like my first video got like 20 and I was really excited.
Yeah.
But my recommendation is like, look, just don't give up. I think don't think too hard about the content. It depends. I mean, I'm going to caveat that very heavily because it depends on the type of niche that you're in. But on my first account, videos that I spent more time creating, because I also know Adobe After Effects and Premiere and I use Photoshop. So I was like, this is going to be a cool video. Like people are going to really love it. It's going to go viral. It flopped. And to me, it was a dent to my own ego because I spent so much time building it and then like it didn't even go anywhere. Mm-hmm. In other instances, there was one video I did like literally in 10 minutes, no graphic design, nothing. It got the job done.
Yeah.
It just got the job done. And I'm not going to say every one of your videos is going to be a winner.
Right.
And it's the same concept for my product site or my Top Finds account. Not every one is going to be a winner, but I do it because I owe it to my fans and followers to have continuous reviews, things that I recommend, and then going live is important, right? But on occasion, like if I find a really, really good product, I sit there and I think about what's the best way for me to deliver it in 15 seconds. That is the most difficult part. It's how do you articulate the pro of something in 15 seconds, especially if it's a product, right? And we haven't even talked about this around like song selection, right? Trendy songs.
Let's talk about it.
So yeah, it's a good segue. So I think there was one track, Say So, the instrumental version. That's just something that I just picked up from day one. I used it for like 50% of my videos. Like I never changed it at all. And it just seemed to work well with my rhythm. It seemed to work well with my overall persona. And people kind of got used to it, which is exciting. At some point or another, I said, let me experiment. Let me go to maybe a couple of other songs. So I didn't find anything too trendy. I kept with videos or songs that were not very high vocal
Mm-hmm.
because I'm talking obviously as a review. So I came up with a couple of other, like a handful of other videos that I tried out, and they worked okay. They worked okay. And then also like throughout my videos, I took some of my creativity that I did with my initial account and I integrated it into my secondary account. So I feel like for new users on TikTok, people that may seem frustrated, don't give up. Don't give up, because I've had those bad days. I'm sure all of us have had. There have been times where I'm like, I'm just throwing in the towel because it's not going anywhere. And then to my surprise, where I thought a video or a concept wasn't gonna fly, guess what? It knocked it out of the park. And then I'm just rejuvenated again. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm motivated. Let me just go back at it again. That's the other interesting thing about TikTok is it can be very addictive in a way, not just looking at videos, but from a content creation perspective. Like I get really pumped up when I have a good video and then I want to continue to do more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, when I'm in the zone, it's happened quite a bit. Like I'd rather be like creating TikToks than like watching TV or like playing video games.
Yeah.
Just I don't know. They're especially when you're starting to hit like, oh man, I've had a viral video almost every day for the last week. Like let's go do it. You know, it's almost
Yeah.
like being at a casino with that kind of slot machine kind of gambling effect. This next video could be a flop, or it could hit 10 million views. Who knows? Let's go
Right.
for it. You it's probably gonna flop, but small chance we could get something going here. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but if you had a chance to look at my initial account,
Yeah, I had it
since
open.
since the news broke out about Microsoft coming into the play about acquiring TikTok, it just dawned upon me. I said, why don't I create a quick video on like what would it be like if Microsoft bought
Yes.
TikTok? So if you notice there's a trend. I came up with that one for Microsoft, and then I said, then I heard news about potentially Twitter or Apple,
Mm-hmm.
and I just repeated it. I took the same video screenshots and I just edited them to make it seem like it's Twitter or Apple. Then what happened is people started jumping on there saying, hey, why don't you do one for like eBay? Why don't you do one for Discord? Why don't you do one for Sony? And I'm like, this is going
Yeah.
bonkers.
Yeah. I see
So
that.
not all of them hit, but a couple of them I think did pretty well. You know, a couple
Yeah.
100,000. Just exciting. So
I wonder if it would help to maybe help engagement because I see how you did them, but did you do the video reply to comments with these? If that's what they were based on,
no, I
I
didn't.
wonder
So
if that might
that's
have
a good
helped
point.
because
Yeah.
I'm seeing like 'cause I think it really at the end of the day, really what it does is it brings people in a little bit more, but it also helps them like, oh, what if I comment something, he might actually do it, so you get more comments that way.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
And also like it would help from a shout out perspective because I think
Hmm.
users on here like would do anything for a shout out
Yeah.
or a follow, right? So that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know all those people who said I followed you and got X amount of followers, and then I kept doing the video replies and getting a
Yeah.
bunch of followers. Yeah, certainly some of them were telling the truth. A lot of them
Yeah.
were lying because they wanted the shout out.
Right.
They thought that was going to help their account in some kind of way.
Yeah,
And you
that's
know,
right.
I went along. I didn't do much due diligence. I was just like, hey, let's video reply to everybody, and
That's funny.
I got 100,000 followers in a day. But so that was an interesting day. But
Yeah.
cool, man. All right. So one more thing I wanted to touch on because I'm getting a
Sure.
lot of questions about this, especially from my younger audience, those people who are like under 14. They really seem to struggle with the algorithm, and a lot of them are hesitant to show their face, or their parents won't even let them show their face. And your new account doesn't show your face at all. It shows your hands. You can hear your voice, but
Mhm.
it doesn't really show your face. Maybe some of them, but
It
not.
does. Actually, it does. Let's talk a little bit about that because my catchphrase at the beginning, and this is the other interesting thing that I think I've ended up having because people know me as like Amazon must-haves guy. So for all of my videos, practically all of them, I say the catchphrase of Amazon must-haves. But at one point, I don't know if it was part 30 or 31, I started to remove myself to see what that would do to my videos. I'm a little bit on the fence about it because in some cases I feel like I remove the human element to it.
Mm-hmm.
In other cases, I'm like, oh wow, I got a video that went viral. I didn't even have to show my face.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I tend to show my face at the beginning, and then I'm basically showing them the product and what I'm doing with it, and that's pretty much it. Then I kind of
Okay.
close it out. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
So you show a little bit of the face, but have you had any go viral without showing your face at all?
yeah. My backpack video
Okay.
was one of them, and even the magnetic key hanger video or key holders. Yeah,
So I think for anyone who is, let's just say 14 or under and struggling with showing their face for whatever reason, maybe you're insecure or maybe you're not allowed to, or maybe you're just worried about the algorithm or whatever. Like you don't have to show your face to go viral. Um, but yeah, I think that showing your face under the age of 14 can be a little risky, but
I agree.
here's a perfect example of somebody who has gone viral without showing their face. So it's
Yeah.
totally possible.
It is. It is. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would piggyback on the fact of if you're under that threshold for age, probably don't do it. I don't think it's going to help. I
Probably
think
don't do what?
don't show your face.
Yeah.
I mean, just in my opinion.
Yeah, the voice might be an issue too, especially if you sound like an 8-year-old, even though you're 13. TikTok, I don't know. I don't know for sure, but just know that
Yeah.
it's a little risky.
Well, the cool thing there is that TikTok does have. Remember, TikTok's a video editing and video sharing app all in one. So they have the voice effects. So I know
True,
they're a
true.
little bit, interesting, but
Yeah.
not sure if you want to have a video with robotic voice, but anyways, you have some options there.
And also, if you don't feel confident with your voice at all, even with the voice changers, you can just use a trending song, which arguably might be better. Use a
Yeah,
trending song, and then just put the text bubbles and just kind of say what you want to say with the text bubbles,
yeah,
and nobody has to know
yeah.
whether you're 9 years old or you're 90 years old. You know.
That's right. No, that's a good point. Well, and then the other thing I've been thinking about, I haven't tried this out, is should I have any song as I'm doing these reviews, right? So should I
Yeah.
have, you know what I
Um,
mean? So
yeah, I think that it's definitely worth testing. I think having some music, depending on the quality of your audio, can help. Like I did a video earlier today, and as I was kind of listening to it before I published it, I was like, this just it just sounds empty and boring. You can kind of hear some weird background noise. Like in this case, yes, I think it would help to have some music. Even if I put the music level to 1, it just kind of balances out everything, and I think it did help. But there's other scenarios where it wouldn't have made sense. So I think
yeah,
it just depends.
yeah, yeah. Really quick on my most viral video that hit 5.1 million views, I had no song on there. It was just me talking and narrating. Like the hook was basically like, hey, did you know if you add milk to a bowl and add, what did I say? And add food coloring and touch it with a Q-tip. I said nothing happens, and I said if you add some Dawn, this is what happens. And then I included a trending song from like I guess it was from the 90s or from the early 2000s, Shoddy, like a melody. So
Yeah.
that was like to date my most memorable video, hit 5.1 million views. But the interesting thing about that was the song, because it turned into an original song by me. I ended up seeing that there's over 2,800 other videos that use my voice from that track, which is like phenomenal to
Yeah,
me. Yeah,
that's probably something that is helping you out, I would imagine. A lot of people using your sound, but at the same time, it's probably equally risky because if, let's just say whoever made that song, I don't know who made that song, but their music label wanted to just retract the
could be.
rights from
Yeah,
anybody who used it as an original sound, well, then yours and everybody else's would lose their sound forever.
right.
And so that video would pretty much be ruined. So that's definitely something people want to keep in mind. Like I think if you're going to use a sound, at least make it an official sound from the TikTok library. And even that's a little bit risky out here, but it's probably more reliable than an original sound.
I agree. I agree, and I think that was one of the probably the important learnings as we touch upon like copyright infringement, and like intellectual property and stuff like that. So I think those are things to keep in mind. Yeah.
Cool. So I am running out of time. I have to go grab my kids from school. So probably a good time to end this. but I'd like to give you a chance to tell people where they can find you, where they can reach out to you if they want to.
Sure. No, I appreciate it. First of all, thank you, Jeff, for having me on here. It's been amazing.
My pleasure.
Follow all of your content, I think, since day one. So it's been really helpful for me, and hopefully it's been a lot helpful for others. So yeah, if you want to reach out to me, I'm on TikTok under Simply Sal Finds and The Real Simply Sal, and I'm also on Instagram. And I tend to ask people to go to my Simply Sal Finds Instagram account if they want to DM me. So it's a great way, and I try my best to respond to everyone within 24 hours. So that's about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on the show
Yeah,
and
thank you.
dropping all of your awesome knowledge and your learnings. And I know my audience is going to be super appreciative when they hear
Yeah.
this. They're going to get tons of ideas from the stuff that you said and the stuff that we talked
Yep.
about. So thanks again.
Absolutely. No, thanks again. All right.
All right,
Take care.
everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see y'all soon.
All right. See ya.
Bye.